Hey, what's happening there, folks? It's G the Hat Guy here. Thanks for stopping by another video. Have you always wondered the difference between wool hats and fur felt hats? Like wool, fur felts, what is that? You've always had that question, not sure and kind of confused, what is what? Wool you might be probably more familiar with. But fur felt, you kind of wonder, what is fur felt? You hear maybe the terms on the lingo saying rabbit fur felt, beaver felt, and those type of things, and you're wondering, you're kind of confused what it is. Well, we're going to get into, some basic stuff, differences and comparisons between the two in this video. Again, this is G the Hat Guy. I want to give a shout out to all the subscribers and all the viewers. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Like with a thumbs up. Okay, share the video on social media, on Instagram, Facebook with your hat buddies, ladies and gents. This channel is meant for hat men and hat women alike. Okay, but y'all don't forget now, it's only one hat guy. That's G the Hat Guy. All right, yeah, you got plenty of hat men and hat women out there though. Shout out to y'all. Okay, gonna be hitting the road soon with more hat content coming your way. So like I said, let's go ahead and dive into this. By the end of the video, hopefully you're able to tell somehow, the difference between wool hats and fur felts. We're gonna point out some things, with wool and just give some enlightenment, about the two. So, like I know, it seems like people always sometimes kind of wonder, what's the difference between the wool hats and the fur felt hats. So we're gonna try to get and make some clarifications. Engage in the comments if you have any further question. I try to reply to my comments. Okay, engage, support the channel. Okay, so right here I've got a Homburg hat. This is a fur felt rabbit Homburg. If you look at the hat, okay, very well on the crown of the hat right there, you see it's got a pretty smooth finish on there. Okay, and that's typical with your fur felt hats. They have really nice smooth finishes because they're actually sanded. Okay, they're sanded down to get a really nice smooth finish. There are even some finishes that are smoother than this. Okay, which I'll get into some finishes in another video or whatnot. Right now, this one is just a battle between the wool hats and the fur felt hats. So, then like I said, on your fur felt hats, you will see the finish, it's much smoother. You can visibly, when you get a fur felt hat, that's made out of rabbit, especially or beaver or something, the beaver that's not like a long hair beaver or a short hair beaver, more like the country style type beaver hats, and some dress beaver hats as well. Depending on the type of look and the finish that the hat maker or the hat manufacturer is trying to put into it. Typical fur felt will have a really nice finish because they're sanded down. Okay, they're sanded down with sandpaper to get a nice smooth finish, whether with a machine or hand sanded. They're sanded by hand. For most of your independent hat makers, they will sand them down by hand, or they have a machine like an old school machine that they used to sand that does the sanding for them. Okay, so that's one way you can typically tell is the kind of smoothness on that finish. Your fur felts, and then when you get into your regular rabbit fur felt or rabbit mix, and then your beavers, they're more dense, material than your wool. Wool is the most common because you find a lot of hats being made out of wool. Typically, fur felt is more of just a dress hat, but wool, people make berets out of wool. They make all the different types of hats, out of wool, whatnot, like knit hats and knit caps, those type of things. But typically, fur felt will be more for your dressy type hat. So again, by visibly looking at the finish, you can tell, because if it's got a really smooth finish on there like that, or even smoother than that is probably a fur felt hat. Even before you look inside, some of the hat manufacturers typically, from your reputable hat manufacturers, they will state if it is a fur felt hat in there. See, like this one says 100% fur felt. Let me adjust my camera here. It says 100% fur felt. Okay, you see that right in there? Typically, we state that with most of your major hat manufacturers, and again, I'm not trying to promote any particular brand here, nothing like that. We didn't come to that yet. Maybe sometime down the line, whatnot. But just trying to show you a difference. This is another fur felt hat here in the charcoal color, fur felt fedora. Again, you look at the finish. You get more of a smoother type finish. Again, on your trying to catch that for you here with my camera here. Bear with me, I ain't got no fancy gadgets, fancy equipment, just trying to make it happen for y'all with what I have here. You see a little bit smoother finish. See this, how smooth the finish is on there. Again, you look on the crown there, you see the finish, how smooth it is. That's a fur felt, made hat. I had somebody tell me when I purchased a hat, I think about before I got into business, over 8 years ago or so, right about that, or maybe it was just about when I got in. I had a manufacturer out in, shout out to the hat folks, hat makers out in Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri. There's a particular old school hat shop out there that the guy told me when I got the hat over the phone, online and stuff. He told me, he said, once you get a fur felt hat, you're never gonna go back to wearing wool. This was, when I was getting educated and stuff about, deeper about hats. I was already into hats, but trying to get more deeper into them. At that point, I really wasn't into fur felts. I just started out with my first set of wool hat collection and that type of stuff, the stingy brims, the short brims, and all that. So this is 100% fur felt, that you can see in this one as well. Okay, so those fur felt hats right there. So he told me, once you get your fur felt hat, you're never going back to wool, and he was right. Once I got my fur felt hat, I saw the quality. Visibly, I saw the quality just by looking at it. I could tell the difference myself, when I just started out, in the hat. Again, just on my personal collection, that type of stuff. Now, this is a wool hat here. The wool is more kind of clumpy. The wool looks like it's kind of heavier. It has more of a heavier type look to it. Even the feel, it feels, kind of heavier and kind of clumpy. The clumpiness, that's a distinct way you can typically tell a wool hat. Who have that clumpy type look. And it's not as dense as your fur felts, and it's not as smooth typically. It will have more of a clumpy, woolly kind of look when you feel it. Okay, and when you take a look at it, you can see that woolly kind of look, that heaviness in that felt, and that wool felt. Okay, type of look. Okay, so those are like the main easy ways to kind of tell, the differences between your wool hats and your fur felt hats. And typically your wool hats, because when it comes to typically when it comes to your wool hats, as far as quality wise, that they're not as high quality as your fur felt hats. Okay, now there are smoother finishes of wool as well that are sanded. Okay, to try to imitate that more of your fur felt finish. Maybe more of your smoother finishes of fur felt and a high-end fur felt type look. There are some brands within the last couple of years or so that I'm starting to see. One particular brand, that I'm pretty familiar with, that I do business with. They have, they come up with a collection of wider brim hats, etc. They have more smoother finishes. Actually, within the last maybe 4 or 5 years, actually, they've been coming out with that, with smoother finishes of wool hats as opposed to just your regular, again, woolly type. They kind of sand them down, give them more of a smoother type wool finish. Higher quality. They've got like maybe about 3 or 4 different types of high-end finish. Kind of competing with that fur felt market, but again, it's still not fur felt. You can still tell the difference. Even with the smoother finishes, you put them side by side with a fur felt hat, you can tell the difference. So basically that's the thing. A lot of folks starting out, they kind of start out with wool hats, like myself as well. Like I said, when you get to know hats, it's not a bad place to start out, trying to get to know different types of hats, that kind of thing. This is the same hat actually. You've got this in the burgundy, almost like a wineish type of red. you know, and then you have it in a dark, you know, olive green here with the specs on it. This is actually a popular hat with this particular manufacturer. Again, I'm not promoting any particular manufacturer right now, but down the line we'll see what happens. Um, if they want G the Hat Guy to be the brand ambassador, you know, and promoter, we can talk about that. Yeah, we've got a deep colored olive green with some specks in there. It's got specks of yellow, almost like a tweed, what you find on like a tweed cap or something. It's got, you see that burgundy, that almost like orange, you know, light orange or light red kind of burgundy type speck there. It's got some of that yellow, you know, and I think it's got some deeper forest green in there too. You know, yeah, but this has got more of a speck type design, you know, inside the wool. Again, this is another wool hat. You can see the look. It's got that woolly type look there. Okay, like I mentioned. So those are really simple ways you can easily tell. You know, as your knowledge kind of grows about hats too, you know, you'll be able to tell more and more. Again, certain hats, you know, that they're strictly fur felt. It's not wool, whatnot. So again, hopefully you learned something in this video. You've gained some a little bit better insight between wool hats and your fur felt hats. Okay, that's my job here. You know, I'm really passionate in my hats, you know, and trying to bring you content about hats, different subjects and topics about hats. And I'm going to be hitting the road all across the country to feature content about hats. So support the channel, support me. If you know anybody else who's into hats, who's looking at getting into hats, man or woman, hat man or hat woman, share the content with them on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. Okay, like, share, subscribe to the channel, and we're gonna go to this channel together. So I want to thank all the viewers and all the subscribers. Okay, I really appreciate y'all. I appreciate everything. Again, this is G the Hat Guy. Thank you very much for your time. Got a next video coming. Going to have some more, another video, a little bit more detail about different types of finishes. Okay, this one just talked about wool and fur felts. We're going to talk more about finishes. Okay, different types of finishes, and then I've got some other content that's lined up. Okay, stay tuned because it's coming at you. Okay, G the Hat Guy. Give the video a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. Thank you, much appreciated. One love.